The Breathless Planet. A sci-fi story. Part 1. The air turned on them in less than 3 minutes. At first it was only a faint metallic taste on the tongue, the kind explorers joked about when stepping onto a new world. Then the taste sharpened, stung, and became a burning that crawled down the throat like invisible fire. By the time Commander Rhea Sol lifted her helmet to shout a warning, her voice broke into a ragged cough. "Filters now," she rasped, slamming her visor shut. The others followed, but it was already too late. The atmosphere of E9V, the breathable paradise they had celebrated only hours earlier, had shifted. Not gradually, not with warning. It had flipped, as if the entire planet had exhaled something poisonous from its core. Rhea's HUD flickered with red alerts. Toxicity spike detected. Unknown compounds. Filter overrun in 12 minutes and 44 seconds. 12 minutes. 12 minutes until their suits choked on the planet's breath. She forced her lungs to slow. Panic would only burn oxygen faster. "Everyone move," she ordered, voice trembling despite her discipline. "We head for the ruin. Now." The ruin, the only anomaly they had detected on landing. A faint oxygen signature, too weak to matter at the time. Now it was their only chance. Behind her, the team stumbled across the cracked violet plain. The ground pulsed faintly beneath their boots, as if the planet had a heartbeat. The sky, once a serene teal, now churned with streaks of rust-red gas swirling like bruises across the horizon. Dr. Malik staggered, clutching his chest. "My filters! They're already—" "Keep moving," Rhea snapped, grabbing his arm and hauling him forward. "We're not dying out here." But the truth pressed against her ribs like a fist. They might. The ruin loomed ahead, a jagged silhouette half buried in the shifting dust. It looked nothing like the natural formations around it. Its walls were smooth, curved, almost organic. A structure grown, not built. And it was breathing. A faint mist pulsed from cracks in its surface, drifting upward like exhalations. Rhea didn't care. If it had oxygen, they were going inside. "Sol, are we sure about this?" Lieutenant Vance called, his voice strained. "We don't know what's in there." "We know what's out here," she shot back. "Move." The ground trembled again. A long, low vibration that rattled their teeth. The planet was shifting, reacting, changing. The air thickened, turning syrupy in their lungs even through the filters. 10 minutes left. They reached the entrance, a narrow slit in the structure, just wide enough for a human to squeeze through. It pulsed faintly, like a throat waiting to swallow. Rhea didn't hesitate. She stepped inside. The air changed instantly. Her HUD flickered from red to yellow. Toxicity levels dropping. Trace oxygen detected. Filter overrun in 21 minutes and 3 seconds. 21 minutes. Not enough, but better. The others filed in behind her, gasping with relief as their suits stabilized. The interior was dim, lit by a soft bioluminescent glow that pulsed through the walls like veins. The floor was warm beneath their boots, almost soft. The air smelled faintly of ozone and something sweet, like overripe fruit. Dr. Malik leaned against the wall, panting. "This place, it's alive." "Alive or not," Rhea said. "It's keeping us breathing." She scanned the chamber. It was circular, with 3 branching corridors leading deeper into the structure. Strange shapes protruded from the walls, tendrils, nodes, and smooth metallic growths that hummed faintly when approached. Lieutenant Vance touched one. It recoiled like a startled animal. "Don't touch anything," Rhea warned. But the ruin had already noticed them. A low hum filled the chamber, vibrating through their bones. The walls brightened, shifting from pale blue to a warm amber. The air thickened with oxygen. Their HUDs updated again. Filter overrun in 1 hour 44 minutes and 12 seconds. Almost 2 hours. The ruin was helping them, or preparing them. Rhea swallowed hard. "We need to map this place. Find the source of the oxygen signature, and figure out how long it can keep us alive." Dr. Malik nodded, though his eyes were fixed on the walls with a mixture of awe and dread. "Commander," This structure isn't just emitting oxygen. It's modifying it. The molecular composition is shifting. It's adapting to us. Adapting how? He hesitated. I won't know until I run tests, but the air is becoming more human-compatible by the minute. Vance muttered, That's not creepy at all. Rhea ignored him. We split into 2 teams. Vance, you're with me. Malik, you and Arya take the left corridor. Stay in comms range. If anything changes, you report immediately. Arya, the quietest of the group, a xenobiologist with a talent for noticing what others missed, nodded silently. Her eyes were wide, reflecting the pulsing light of the ruin. They moved. The corridors shifted as they walked. Rhea noticed it first, the walls subtly rearranging, smoothing out, widening, as if accommodating their presence. The air grew warmer, richer. Her lungs felt good, too good, almost euphoric. Commander, Vance said quietly, my suit's oxygen intake is dropping. The system thinks I don't need as much. Same here, she admitted. The ruin was feeding them. She didn't like it. They reached a chamber filled with towering structures that resembled trees made of metal and flesh. Their branches swayed gently, though there was no wind. At the tips of each branch, translucent sacs pulsed with glowing gas. Rhea approached one cautiously. Her HUD registered a spike in oxygen. This is the source, she murmured. Some kind of biomechanical generator. Vance circled one of the structures. Commander, these things are reacting to us. The sacs swelled, glowing brighter. Rhea stepped back. We're leaving. Now. But the chamber's entrance sealed behind them. A soft hiss filled the air. The sacs burst. A cloud of shimmering particles enveloped them. Rhea's suit alarm screamed. Unknown aerosol detected. Filter failure imminent. She held her breath instinctively. But the particles seeped through the suit, through her skin, through her lungs. Her vision blurred. Her heartbeat thundered in her ears. She collapsed to her knees. Commander! Vance shouted, but his voice sounded distant, warped. The world tilted. The ruin hummed louder, almost soothingly. And then everything went black. Rhea woke to silence. Her helmet was off. Her suit was open. And she was breathing. She sat up with a gasp, expecting agony. But her lungs felt clear. Too clear. The air was rich, almost intoxicating. She looked around. She was in a new chamber, smaller, warmer, with walls that pulsed like a heartbeat. Vance lay nearby, unconscious but breathing steadily. Her suit lay in pieces beside her, neatly dismantled by something with precision far beyond human tools. Vance? She whispered, shaking him gently. Wake up. He stirred, groaning. Commander, what happened? I don't know, but we're breathing without suits. He sat up, eyes wide. That's impossible. Rhea touched her throat. Her skin felt different, warmer, more sensitive. She felt the air moving through her lungs in a way she never had before, as if her body had been tuned to the atmosphere. The ruin had changed her. She stood, unsteady. We need to find the others. As they moved toward the exit, the walls parted for them like opening petals. The ruin wanted them to continue. Malik and Arya were not where they should have been. Their comms were dead. The corridors had shifted again, rearranging into new patterns. The ruin was a labyrinth, one that changed itself with purpose. Rhea forced herself to stay calm. We follow the oxygen signature. The ruin wants us alive. It'll lead us to them. Vance swallowed hard. Commander, what if it wants something else? She didn't answer. They entered a vast chamber filled with towering pillars that pulsed with light. Between them, shapes moved, small, spider-like machines with translucent bodies and glowing cores. They scuttled across the floor, weaving patterns of light behind them. When Rhea stepped forward, they froze. Then they approached. Slowly, curiously. One climbed her boot, its tiny legs clicking softly. She resisted the urge to kick it away. It reached her knee, paused, then projected a beam of light onto her skin. The light scanned her. The machine chirped, a soft, melodic sound, and leapt off, scuttling away. Vance exhaled shakily. They're analyzing us. Or monitoring the changes, Rhea said quietly, because she felt the changes now. Her heartbeat was slower, her breathing deeper, her vision sharper in the dim light. The ruin wasn't just keeping them alive. It was optimizing them. They found Arya first. She was standing in the center of a chamber filled with floating orbs of light. Her helmet was gone. Her eyes were closed. She was breathing deeply, her chest rising and falling in slow, controlled rhythms. Arya, Rhea called. Arya opened her eyes. They glowed faintly. Commander, she said softly. It's okay. The machines are helping us. Vance stepped back. Helping us? They tore our suits apart. They had to, Arya said. Our bodies weren't compatible with the atmosphere, but they're fixing that. Rhea approached cautiously. Arya, what did they do to you? Arya smiled, a serene, unsettling smile. They're adapting us, making us part of the environment, so we can survive. Rhea's stomach twisted. Where's Malik? Arya's expression darkened. He resisted. What does that mean? Before Arya could answer, a deep rumble shook the chamber. The walls pulsed violently. The lights flickered. The planet was shifting again. Arya looked upward, eyes wide. We don't have much time. The atmosphere outside is destabilizing. If we don't complete the adaptation, we'll die. Rhea grabbed her shoulders. Where is Malik? Arya hesitated. Then she pointed toward a dark corridor. He's in the chamber of transformation. Vance whispered. That sounds bad. Arya's glowing eyes met Rhea's. Commander, you need to understand. Malik fought the process. The machines had to force the adaptation. It's not gentle. Rhea's blood ran cold. Show me. Arya nodded and led them into the darkness. The chamber of transformation was alive. The walls writhed like muscle. The air was thick with shimmering particles. Strange tendrils hung from the ceiling, dripping glowing fluid. And in the center of the room, suspended in a cocoon of light and machinery, was Dr. Malik. He was screaming, where he had been. Now the sound was a hoarse, broken rasp. His body was changing. Rhea froze, horror clawing up her throat. Malik's skin shimmered with iridescent patterns. His veins glowed faintly. His fingers were elongating, joints shifting beneath the skin. The machines surrounding him pulsed with purpose. Scanning, injecting, reshaping. Arya stepped forward. He'll survive. They're making him compatible. Vance gagged. Compatible with what? Arya turned to them, her expression calm. With the planet. Rhea's voice cracked. We're getting him out. Arya shook her head. If you interrupt the process, he'll die. Rhea drew her sidearm. Step aside. Arya didn't move. Commander, she said softly. You don't understand. This planet changes its atmosphere constantly. It's alive. It breathes different air every cycle. No species can survive here without adapting. The machines were built to help. They're saving us. Rhea's hand trembled on the weapon. Because part of her, the part that felt the new strength in her lungs, the clarity in her senses, knew Arya was right. The ruin was saving them. But at what cost? Malik screamed again, his voice warping into something inhuman. Rhea lowered her weapon. Finish the process, she whispered. The machines hummed in approval, and the chamber pulsed with light. Part 2. The chamber pulsed like a living heart. Rhea stood frozen as the machines tightened their cocoon around Malik. The tendrils wrapped him in a lattice of light and metal, each pulse sending a ripple through his reshaping body. His screams had softened into ragged gasps, then into something else. A low, resonant hum that vibrated through the floor. Arya watched with a calm that made Rhea's skin crawl. He's stabilizing. The machines are correcting the incompatibilities. Correcting, Vance whispered. They're rewriting him. Arya turned, her glowing eyes soft. Would you rather he suffocate when the atmosphere shifts again? Rhea clenched her jaw. She hated that Arya had a point. She hated even more that she could feel the ruin's influence in her own body. The deeper breaths, the heightened senses, the strange warmth in her bones. The machines hummed louder. Malik's cocoon brightened, and then, with a soft hiss, it opened. Rhea stepped forward instinctively, then stopped. Malik emerged slowly, supported by the machines like a newborn learning to stand. His skin shimmered with faint iridescent patterns, shifting like oil on water. His eyes glowed faintly, the same unnatural hue as Arya's. But he was breathing. He looked at Rhea, recognition flickering in his altered gaze. "Commander!" His voice was deeper, resonant, layered with a faint harmonic undertone. Rhea swallowed hard. "Malik, are you you?" He blinked slowly. "I think so. I remember everything. But I feel different." Vance muttered, "That's one way to put it." Malik flexed his fingers, watching the light ripple beneath his skin. The machines explained it. Rhea stiffened. "Explained." He nodded. "Not in words, in impressions, intent. They're not trying to harm us. They're trying to integrate us." Arya stepped beside him. "So we can survive here?" Rhea's pulse quickened. "Survive what?" Malik turned toward the chamber wall. "The planet is entering a new atmospheric cycle. The air outside will become unbreathable in minutes. The ruin is preparing us for the next phase." Vance shook his head. "This is insane. We need to get back to the ship." Malik's expression darkened. "The ship's filters are already failing. Even if we reached it, we wouldn't last an hour." Rhea felt the truth settle like a weight in her chest. They were trapped, and the only way to live was to let the ruin change them. The ruin shifted again. A deep tremor rolled through the structure, shaking dust from the ceiling. The walls pulsed with urgent light, guiding them toward a new corridor that hadn't existed moments before. Arya tilted her head, listening to something only she could hear. "It wants us to follow." Vance scoffed. "Of course it does." Rhea steadied herself. "We move. Stay alert." They followed the glowing path deeper into the ruin. The air grew warmer, thicker, filled with a faint hum that resonated in their bones. Rhea felt her heartbeat syncing with the rhythm, her breaths aligning with the pulses in the walls. She didn't like how natural it felt. The corridor opened into a vast chamber unlike anything they had seen before. It was a garden, or the alien equivalent of one. Bioluminescent plants, or machines shaped like plants, grew in spiraling patterns across the floor. Their leaves shimmered with shifting colors. Tendrils hung from the ceiling like vines, dripping glowing droplets into pools of iridescent fluid. The air was rich with oxygen. Rhea inhaled deeply despite herself. Malik stepped forward, awe in his altered eyes. "This is the core, the atmospheric engine." Vance frowned. "The what?" Malik gestured to the glowing flora. "These organisms, machines, whatever they are, they regulate the planet's atmosphere. They produce, filter, and modify gases. The cycles aren't random. They're controlled." Rhea's stomach twisted. "Controlled by what?" Arya answered softly. "By the planet." Vance threw up his hands. "Great. The whole world is alive." Malik shook his head. "Not alive. Engineered. This planet was designed to shift its atmosphere. Constantly. Rapidly. No native species could survive without continuous adaptation." Rhea felt the weight of his words. "So the ruin is a survival system." Malik nodded. "A refuge, a transformation chamber, a way to adapt visitors to the planet's cycles." Arya touched one of the glowing plants, curled around her fingers like a curious animal. "It's trying to help us." Vance backed away. "Or it's trying to turn us into something else." Rhea didn't respond, because she felt it too. The subtle changes in her body, the way the air tasted sweeter, the way her skin tingled with every breath. The ruin was already working on her. The tremor hit without warning. The entire chamber shook violently. The glowing plants recoiled, folding into themselves. The tendrils above snapped taut, emitting sharp, metallic screeches. Malik staggered. The atmospheric shift is accelerating. The planet is entering a toxic phase. Ria's HUD, still partially functional, flickered with red alerts. External atmosphere, lethal. Composition unknown. Vance cursed. We're stuck here. Arya shook her head. No. The ruin is preparing a new chamber. A deeper one. For the next stage. Ria stiffened. Next stage of what? Arya met her gaze, her glowing eyes calm. Adaptation. Ria's pulse hammered. We're not letting it do to us what it did to Malik. Malik flinched. Commander, I'm alive because of it. Vance stepped between them. Alive, sure. But are you still human? Malik's expression tightened. Does it matter? If the alternative is death. Ria felt the room closing in. The air thickened. The ruin hummed louder, almost impatient. Arya pointed toward a newly opened corridor. We need to go. Now. Ria hesitated. Then the chamber shook again, harder. A crack split the ceiling, releasing a burst of toxic gas that hissed like escaping steam. Ria didn't wait. Move! The descent began. The new corridor sloped downward, spiraling deeper into the planet. The walls grew darker, the bioluminescent veins dimming to a faint glow. The air grew warmer, heavier, filled with a low-frequency hum that vibrated through their bones. Ria felt her heartbeat sinking with the rhythm again. She forced herself to focus. Arya, how do you know where we're going? Arya touched the wall gently. It's guiding me. I can feel its intent. Vance muttered. Great. She's psychic now. Malik shook his head. Not psychic. Connected. Ria shot him a sharp look. Connected how? He hesitated. The machines, they linked me to the ruin, to the planet's systems. I can sense the atmospheric shifts, the cycles, the danger. Ria's skin prickled. And what do you sense now? Malik closed his eyes. Then he whispered, the next cycle will be worse, much worse. If we don't complete the adaptation, we won't survive. Vance groaned. Of course. Ria clenched her fists. We're not letting this place rewrite us. Arya turned, her expression soft but firm. Commander, it already has. Ria froze, because she knew it was true. Her lungs felt too strong, her vision too sharp, her skin too sensitive. The ruin had begun the process the moment they entered, and there was no going back. They reached the lower chamber. It was vast, a cathedral of living machinery. Tendrils hung from the ceiling like roots, pulsing with light. Pools of glowing fluid bubbled softly. Platforms rose from the floor like petals, each surrounded by swirling particles. Ria felt a chill crawl down her spine. This is a transformation chamber. Malik nodded. A controlled environment for completing the adaptation. Vance backed away. No way. I'm not getting on one of those things. Arya stepped onto a platform without hesitation. The tendrils lowered, wrapping around her gently. She closed her eyes, breathing deeply. Ria's heart pounded. Arya! Arya opened her glowing eyes. It's okay. I can feel it. It's not trying to hurt us. Malik stepped onto another platform. Commander, we don't have a choice. Vance looked at Ria, panic in his eyes. Please, don't make me do this. Ria hesitated. The ruin hummed louder. The air thickened. Her lungs burned. Her vision blurred. The atmosphere was shifting again, even inside the ruin. She couldn't breathe. She fell to her knees, gasping. Malik shouted, Commander, the adaptation isn't complete. You won't survive the next cycle. Vance grabbed her arm. Ria, what do we do? Ria forced herself to stand. Her lungs screamed. Her vision darkened. She looked at the platforms, at the tendrils, at the machines waiting to reshape her. Then she whispered, We finish it. Vance's face crumpled. Ria. She grabbed his hand. We survive. Together. She stepped onto the platform. The tendrils descended. The light enveloped her. and the ruin began its work. Part 3. The light swallowed Rhea whole. It wasn't brightness in the normal sense. Not something that struck the eyes, but a radiance that filled her from the inside, as if her bones had become lanterns. The tendrils wrapped around her torso, her limbs, her throat, her skull. They were warm, almost gentle, but impossibly strong. Her breath hitched. Then the pain hit. It wasn't sharp. It wasn't even localized. It was everywhere. A deep cellular ache, as if her body were being unmade and rebuilt at the same time. Her lungs expanded beyond what should have been possible. Her heartbeat slowed, then quickened, then settled into a rhythm that matched the pulsing of the chamber. She tried to scream, but the tendrils tightened around her throat, not choking her, stabilizing her, holding her still, guiding the transformation. Her vision blurred. Colors she had no names for swirled behind her eyelids. She felt her skin ripple, her bones shift, her blood thicken with something warm and metallic. She felt the planet breathing, and she breathed with it. When the light finally dimmed, she collapsed. The tendrils released her gently, lowering her to the warm floor. Her body trembled, every nerve buzzing with new sensations. The air tasted different, richer, layered, almost musical. She inhaled deeply, instinctively, and her lungs responded with a smoothness that felt alien. "Commander!" The voice was Vance's, but deeper, resonant, layered like Malik's. Rhea opened her eyes. Vance stood over her, his silhouette framed by the pulsing light of the chamber. His skin shimmered faintly, veins glowing like bioluminescent threads beneath the surface. His eyes were brighter, sharper, reflecting the chamber's glow. He looked terrified. "Rhea, are you okay?" She sat up slowly. Her muscles responded with fluid precision. No stiffness, no pain. Her senses were sharper. She could hear the faint hum of the ruins' machinery, the distant shifting of the planet's atmosphere, even the subtle rhythm of Vance's heartbeat. "I'm alive," she said. Her voice sounded different, smoother, deeper, with a faint harmonic undertone. Vance exhaled shakily. "Good, because I thought—" He stopped, swallowing hard. Rhea looked around. Arya stood nearby, serene, her transformation complete. Malik was beside her, steady and calm. Both looked comfortable. At home. The chamber pulsed with approval. The adaptation was complete. The ruin opened. A section of the wall dissolved into a swirling archway of light. Beyond it, a tunnel led upward toward the surface. Malik stepped forward. "The atmosphere has stabilized. The next cycle has begun." Rhea's HUD flickered to life, though the readings were different now, tuned to her altered physiology. External atmosphere, breathable, optimal. Vance stared at the archway. "So, we go outside?" Arya nodded. "It's safe. For us." Rhea pushed herself to her feet. Her balance was perfect, her breathing effortless, her heartbeat steady. She felt powerful, but also afraid. "Let's go," she said. The surface had changed. The sky was no longer teal or rust red. It was a deep, shimmering violet streaked with luminous clouds that pulsed like slow lightning. The ground glowed faintly beneath their feet, as if the planet's veins ran just below the surface. The air was warm, thick with oxygen and something else, something that made Rhea's skin tingle pleasantly. Vance inhaled deeply. "This feels incredible." Malik nodded. "The planet's new cycle. The air is optimized for our altered physiology." Rhea scanned the horizon. Their ship was still there, half buried in dust, its hull pitted and corroded by the earlier atmospheric shift. It looked small now, fragile, irrelevant. "We should check the ship," she said. Vance frowned. "Why? We can't leave." "Because it's ours," Rhea said quietly. "And because we need to know what's left." They walked across the glowing plain. The ground pulsed beneath their feet, responding to their steps. Rhea felt the planet's rhythm syncing with her heartbeat. It was unsettling and strangely comforting. The ship was dead. The airlock was fused shut. The hull was warped. The interior, visible through a cracked viewport, was filled with a haze of toxic residue. The filters had failed completely. The systems were fried. They had no way off the planet. Vance stared at the wreckage, his glowing eyes dimming. So that's it. We're stuck here. Malik placed a hand on his shoulder. We're alive. That's more than we had an hour ago. Arya stepped forward, touching the hull gently. The planet didn't kill us. It adapted us. It wants us here. Rhea stiffened. Wants us? Arya nodded. The ruin showed me. This world was engineered as a living ecosystem, one that changes constantly. It needs caretakers, observers, participants. Vance backed away. No. I didn't sign up to be part of some alien biology project. Rhea felt a chill crawl up her spine. Arya, what exactly did it show you? Arya turned to her, eyes glowing softly. This planet was once inhabited. The original species built the ruins to survive the atmospheric cycles. But they're gone now, extinct. The system has been waiting for new life to integrate. Malik added quietly, we're the first compatible species it's encountered in centuries. Rhea's pulse quickened. Compatible how? Arya smiled gently. Adaptable. Fragile enough to need help. Strong enough to survive the transformation. Vance shook his head violently. No, I'm not staying here. I'm not becoming part of this thing. Rhea stepped toward him. Vance. He backed away. Don't tell me this is okay. It's not about okay, Rhea said softly. It's about survival. Vance's voice cracked. I don't want to survive like this. Rhea reached out, but he turned and ran. The planet reacted instantly. The ground trembled. The air thickened. The sky darkened to a deep crimson. A low, resonant hum filled the air. Not from the ruin, but from the planet itself. Malik's eyes widened. He's triggering a defensive response. Rhea's heart lurched. Vance! She sprinted after him, her altered muscles propelling her forward with inhuman speed. The ground pulsed beneath her feet, guiding her, urging her onward. Vance stumbled across the glowing plain, gasping, clutching his chest. His body wasn't fully adapted yet. The new atmosphere was overwhelming him. Vance! Rhea shouted. Stop! He collapsed. Rhea reached him in seconds, dropping to her knees. His skin flickered with unstable bioluminescent patterns. His breathing was ragged, uneven. Rhea, he whispered. I can't do this. She grabbed his shoulders. Listen to me. You're not done adapting. You need to go back to the ruin. He shook his head weakly. I don't want to change. Rhea's throat tightened. You already have. We all have. But you're not stable yet. You'll die out here. He looked up at her, fear and despair swirling in his glowing eyes. Then let me die human. Rhea felt something inside her break. The planet hummed louder, the air vibrating with urgency. Malik and Arya arrived, breathless but steady. Arya knelt beside Vance. The planet is trying to help you, but you're resisting. You need to let it finish. Vance's voice was barely a whisper. I don't want to be part of it. Rhea closed her eyes. Then she made a choice. Take him back, she said. Malik hesitated. Commander, take him back, she repeated, her voice trembling. Finish the adaptation. Vance's eyes widened in horror. Rhea, please. She looked away. I'm sorry. The tendrils erupted from the ground. They wrapped around Vance gently but firmly, lifting him into the air. He screamed, a raw, agonized sound, as the planet's systems enveloped him, pulling him toward a newly opened fissure leading back into the ruin. Rhea watched, tears streaming down her altered cheeks. The fissure closed. The ground stilled. The sky brightened. The planet calmed. Malik placed a hand on her shoulder. You saved him, Rhea whispered. I condemned him. Arya shook her head. You gave him a chance to live. Rhea didn't answer, because she wasn't sure she believed it. The truth came at sunset. They stood on a ridge overlooking the glowing plains. The sky shifted through colors no human eye had ever seen before, but their new eyes saw them clearly. Rhea felt the planet's rhythm in her bones. She felt connected, changed, alive. Malik spoke softly. The ruin showed me something else. Rhea turned. What? He pointed toward the horizon, where faint structures dotted the landscape. More ruins, more living machines, more remnants of the extinct species. This planet wasn't just a home, Malik said. It was a sanctuary, a place designed to preserve life through constant change. The original inhabitants built the system to ensure survival. But something went wrong. They died out. Arya added. The system kept running, waiting, searching for new life to integrate. Rhea felt the weight of the revelation settle over her. So we're the new inhabitants. Malik nodded. We're the new caretakers. Vance emerged from the ruin behind them. He walked slowly, but steadily. His transformation was complete. His skin shimmered with stable patterns. His eyes glowed softly. His breathing was calm. He looked at Rhea, and he smiled, a small, sad, accepting smile. You were right, he said quietly. I wasn't ready, but now, I understand. Rhea stepped toward him. Vance. He shook his head gently. It's okay. I'm still me. Just more. Arya placed a hand on his arm. Welcome back. Vance exhaled, looking out at the alien horizon. So what now? Rhea followed his gaze. The planet pulsed beneath her feet. The sky shimmered with new life. The ruins hummed with purpose. We survive, she said softly. We learn. We adapt. She looked at her team, altered, glowing, alive. And we make this world ours. The planet breathed, and they breathed with it. This is the end of the sci-fi story, The Breathless Planet. Leave a like if you enjoyed the story, and subscribe for more sci-fi stories. Thanks for listening.